Badger fans, I am so excited for this one. We're going to talk beer. We're going to talk Badgers. We're going to talk about it all and the collective on today's Locked On Badgers. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Badger fans, thank you for tuning into Locked On Badgers. As always, thank you for making this one of your first listens every single day. We really do appreciate it as we build this community around Badger athletics. We have a excellent, amazing show today with two incredible guests. We're going to jump right into that. We have Dave Fritz, the president of the Potosi Foundation, joining us, and Paul Wrycha, Varsity Collective board member. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking some time out of your days, for jumping in, talking Badgers, talking beer. I want to start here, Paul, a little bit of background. I feel like we're constantly trying, Badger fans, college football fans in general, are constantly trying to get their heads around what are collectives, what are we doing in this new ecosystem of college sports?
Yeah, I mean, well, collectives are they're at virtually every university in the country, at least in the major conferences, and the collectives are there to support the athletic departments and student athletes in cultivating name, image, and likeness transactions. So, at a very base level, what we're trying to do is we take money from donors and other contributors, and we try to figure out a way to help the student athletes monetize their name, image, and likeness. So at a base level, that's what we're doing. And the relationship with Potosi is a way to do that, outside of donors, and is a way to get active fan engagement from the average fan through buying beer, which we all like and support as part of Badger fans.
And let's talk there with the collaboration between yourself, the collective, Potosi Brewing. Dave, you reached out. This was kind of something that you helped spearhead. Why did you decide to kind of go this route with your brewery and venture out to Wisconsin athletics?
That's a great question, Ryan. And been a lifelong Badger fan. Certainly follow the Badger athletics very carefully. The NIL was a whole different animal that came out and put a lot of pressure on universities and coaches, and it's kind of made its way through having probably one of the biggest impacts on large university athletics in the history of things that have ever developed. And watching various ways for groups to raise money. We're located down in Southwest Wisconsin and right on the Iowa border, and surrounded by a lot of Hawkeye fans. And I saw what the University of Iowa did with their Swarm beer and the success that they had. Started looking at all the other NIL beers that were out there, and it was a very, very effective way to try to support the NIL through the sale of a product. The Potosi Foundation was formed back in 2000, or actually 1999, to save the original brewery in Potosi that was built in 1852. And coming forward after 3 phases of construction, we reopened in 2008. And the foundation is the sole owner of the Potosi Brewing Company. And we have a charitable mission. We also house the National Brewery Museum in our complex. And so combining that with also participating financially in supporting UW athletics through donating to the NIL and being a part of a committee that was raising money specifically for the basketball program. Greg Gard grew up in Southwest Wisconsin. I'm a UW Platteville grad. Greg was there. Bo Ryan was there. Bo Ryan used to be the spokesperson for Tricor Insurance, which is my day job. So again, a lot of close ties there. And how can we help? So we started putting together the thought of how would we present this to the university, and the university had to work their way through how would they feel about an alcoholic beverage raising money for the Varsity Collective, which is not directly owned or affiliated with the university. It's an independent organization, but obviously very important that this be done in a very controlled and organized manner. And So we were a little late in terms of Wisconsin getting beer as a fundraiser, but it seemed like a great idea. So between Mark Rothwell and I got introduced to Paul, we brought that program forward, and it's kind of evolved from there.
Well, and Mark is someone who's been on the show and talked kind of about the efforts as well. And there feels like Potosi feels like a Wisconsin type of brewery, right? It's connected to the town. It's historical. Paul, like when that conversation came to you and you collectively as the collective, what were the initial thoughts and how did that kind of go from the initial discussions to where we are now?
Well, initially I was super excited. One, just with the idea and the revenue potential. But then when I saw the work that Dave had put into one, just the packaging, the design on the cans. I don't think if you haven't seen the can, go to Potosi's website or our website and click through it. It is. There you go, Dave. It is. I think one of the coolest can designs out there. I mean, just and the packaging on the 6-packs. I mean, when you go into one of the stores, a Quick Trip, a Hy-Vee, Festival Foods, all the different places they're at, when you see the display, it's going to be hard not to buy it. And then just outside of being able to get 20% to student athletes, right? I mean, but and then when you try the beer's phenomenal. I mean, everybody that I have talked to that's tried it thinks it is unbelievably good beer. And I agree. So when you took all that together, before I even got to taste the beer, all the packaging and the design and the upside was so great. But then when you taste the beer, it's like, it probably should have started with me tasting the beer and then go to the packaging. But it was Dave just and his team did a phenomenal job. So it was a no-brainer, and there's just been a great partnership.
We had to put together some financial projections, and we pulled all the data we could possibly get from the successful venues out there, and worked very closely with Wisconsin Distributors, which is the Budweiser distributor based out of Madison and Appleton, Wisconsin area. And Casey Trudgeon was a very helpful individual in terms of doing the forecasting, and because it had to work financially. And so we came up with the formula of taking 20% of the sale from Potosi to our distributors and using that as a fee or a royalty being paid, or license marketing fee being paid to the Varsity Collective. And go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to go back to something Paul had said about the design of it as well. And Dave, kick this back over to your side. Like, that design is incredible. How did you get to that design? Did someone do that for you? How many different designs did you have? Did you settle on that one? I mean, it's an incredible design.
We have a company that we work with out of Milwaukee called the Rally Company, and they're our designer. They came up with some initial designs, various names, and through a process of just sorting through it, just like if we were going after branding any one of our other products, it's an exercise that takes a while. We started with the Varsity Collective website, and that's how we got our Bucky. And it's not Bucky; it's just a trademarked image. So we use that, and then we discovered that the name Varstiy, which was our favorite name, was actually trademarked through another brewery. And with the help of Paul and some of our team and Wisconsin Distributors, we were able to secure the rights to that name. And one thing that I said from the beginning is, any of the intellectual property that's developed, even though we were working through that process, I wanted it to reside inside of the Varsity Collective and not inside of Potosi. So we developed the liquid. They know what the liquid is, and it's important that we do our job as a supplier of that product, and that if we're not, it's not about Potosi. It's really about the student athletes at the University of Wisconsin. And so that was a lot of the background in terms of maybe how we got to the design work. A lot of feedback from a lot of different people.
It turned out phenomenal. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at eBay Motors. You got to keep your ride or die alive, and that takes the right parts at the right prices, and that's why you have to go to eBay Motors. If you need anything for your car, exhaust parts, interior parts, radio, lights, whatever it is, you can find that over at eBay Motors. They have over 122 million parts for your ride or die. You can fit that in Camp Randall if you wanted to. I don't know where they put all those parts. There's a reason we go there on the Locked On Network. You save time, you save money, you're burning rubber, and you're not burning cash. Whatever you need, find the right parts over at eBay Motors, the right parts, the right fit, the right prices. And again, it's a simple, easy, fast shopping experience. So it also saves you time, which is really, that's the most valuable resource any of us has. So go over to eBay Motors, right parts, right fit, the right prices. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. eBay Motors, keep your ride or die alive. Paul, I want to kind of ask you this. A question I get a lot is how do we generate more interest, more awareness among standard consumers for NIL? There's a perception that only big donors can really move the needle. This feels like maybe a way to generate some of that groundswell.
I completely agree. That is, I mean, at the top of our list at the collective is trying to generate fan engagement at a higher level, and this is kind of step one. So hopefully, as we get into the fall, you'll see we're gonna roll out a bunch of different programs to try to get more of an average fan engagement through memberships and things like that, and through these memberships, across different sports. Kind of like historically, they don't really call them that anymore, but in the old days, you had booster clubs, right? And so we're going to be designing things around that, and hopefully we'll be rolling that out over the summer. But that is a total goal, because I think most people I talk to want to be engaged and want to contribute and support their sport of choice or multiple sports of choice. We need to do a better job of giving the platform to get it in there to do that, and that's what we're working on now.
And that's phenomenal, because it leads into a question actually from we put it out there. Hey, we're gonna have Paul, we're gonna have Dave on the show. Several people sent in questions. This one was from Badger Gator, and it seems like it's parroting what you're saying. Plans to entice the average fan to join, donate, ideas, random swag, private tailgates, that kind of stuff. It sounds like that's exactly what you're talking about, Paul.
All of the above. Yeah, that is the plan. At a base level, part of the partnership with Dave helps us gives us a little flexibility to be able to do that, right? We don't have a budget. We rely on people giving us money to go do stuff. Just think about what's involved in just putting on a tailgate when everybody's just contributing their time. So with the money from Potosi, we're hopefully going to be able to start to get a staff that will be able to build out and be able to organize these events. But all of that hopefully will be rolling out over the course of the summer. Knock on wood.
When the initial press release came out in April, within a couple of days, there were 60,000 views of that, and probably over 55,000 of those people really didn't understand maybe what the NIL was. So that's part of the awareness. And there's a QR code on our packaging and on our can. You hit the QR code, it takes you to a link that tells you about it and would allow you to make a donation. And it's $100, it's $200, it's $500. That's where you really get a lot of grassroots awareness. And at $50, everything makes a difference. You get people engaged, and products like this, I think, will help.
Dave, I want to talk to you about the beer itself, right? And a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with how you even develop the process of creating a new product, a new beer. Was Golden Ale, was an ale always the target? Did it become that? How did you get to the point where Varsity Golden Ale is what it is as a Golden Ale?
Yeah, and we have a team of brewers, and our head brewer happens to be an avid Hawkeye fan, but he took this challenge upon himself to come up with an amazing liquid. And our marketing people will throw out kind of some general parameters. And we wanted a lighter beer, we wanted a lower alcohol beer, we wanted one that would taste really good and appeal to any of the light beer drinkers out there. It needs to be a tailgate. It's not going to, we didn't want a heavy IPA. We didn't want a particular style of beer that would relate to a certain beer consumer. We wanted this to relate to the mass of people. So if Busch Light is your beer of choice, if you drink this, you're going to enjoy it. And so they started through the process of selecting the hops, selecting the grain, and we have a small 3-barrel pilot system. So through 3 or 4 different versions of product through this pilot system, we narrowed it down. And then it doesn't matter what we like at the brewery. It doesn't matter what Paul particularly likes. Okay, then how do you get that out so you make sure you're on target? So we started extending those samplings out to a broader base of people, and finally arrived at the Varsity Golden Ale and the recipe that makes it.
I love it. I wanted to pass along some feedback as well. Some stuff off Twitter. This is from Megan Milrone, spotted Varsity Golden Ale in Oshkosh with the Badger emoji. Gooners, glad to have my hands on one of these, one of the first 1,000 in Dane. Dylan Graff, fresh off the press, ice cold Varsity Golden Ale, courtesy of the Collective and Potosi Brewing. Join me in drinking for a good cause. I think most Badger fans will raise a cup to that. Blake Weiner, locked in, ready to go. I'm going to drink enough Varsity Golden Ale to land another Heisman winner. So I think you guys, I mean, obviously, listen, beer is a big part of Wisconsin's culture, the history of it. It's something people enjoy. I think you guys absolutely nailed that. I want to talk about what's the goals. Like where do you want to go, Dave, in terms of maybe locations with Varsity Golden Ale? That's a question a lot of people have.
So because of the arrival of the cans, and there's a lot to getting the product in-house, getting it developed. We wanted it to be on the low end of the price point for craft beer. So that was a factor. We don't want people to pay a premium for this. Now, if they're comparing it to a 30-pack of their favorite light beer, it might be, but if you go in and look at the craft beer prices, we wanted it to be right there and competitive with all of them. And as far as distribution goes, we want it all over the state of Wisconsin, and we're currently getting that rollout. And our estimates right now tell us that we're at about 350 tap handles and at about 650 retail accounts. And the cans were just rolled out to retail 2 weeks ago. So we had our distributors queued up, and our distributors are participating in this financially as well. They're putting in, because of our margin being so tight by sending 20%, normally as a brewery, we would help participate in some of the marketing and the rollout. They're picking up that cost. So we definitely want to thank our distributors for working with us. We're in 7G Distributing in Dubuque, Iowa. And there's a lot of Badger fans that go to Dubuque and go into Iowa. Stern Beverage, and it covers Northwest Illinois, East Dubuque, Galena. Again, a lot of Badger fans. So right now we're in 3 states, and that's probably where we'll reside for a while. But as we identify other areas around the country where there's a concentration of Badger fans, we're going to work through that process of getting licensed in those states and trying to get that product out to them. So we've got to take baby steps, but we want to be where the Badger fans are.
Well, there are Badger bars across the country, right? I mean, alumni across the country. Paul, do you see this as potentially a model to how other businesses may be able to collaborate or partner with the Collective?
Yeah, I think I talked about this before. We're willing to partner really with any brands that make sense for us to partner with, and that we think can be a mutual beneficial relationship. Again, Dave did all the legwork to get us there, and so it was a very easy relationship for us to want to jump into. But I do think I completely agree with that. There's all sorts of brands and a lot of really, traditional Wisconsin brands that we'd love to partner with. So come come and get us.
Absolutely love it. I want to ask this. This is more of a collective specific question, Paul, but one question we got from Roll Bucky was, I'd love to hear, how do you balance with the different sports programs? I mean, football and basketball obviously generate a lot of headlines, but there is a rich history of athletics across all of Wisconsin. How does that work with the collective and NIL?
Well, we're very focused on that. I think one of the line items when we were going through some of the forms we had to file was that we were able to, the collective was able to do NIL deals for all 21 sports. So that includes men and women, male and female sports athletes, and we're focused on trying to make sure that we really address that. For example, like when we're rolling out these club memberships going into the next year, one of the focuses that we've made is for volleyball. So I'm a 10-year season ticket holder for volleyball. So that is definitely on the radar. And we want to, as we talked about before, try to get fans for their specific sports to engage and mobilize behind it. And that's the essence of the clubs. And again, fan experiences for the fans in their specific sports. So, through your subscription, through your membership, you'll get access to chalk talks, to, meeting the athletes, all those kinds of things. That's all of what we're trying to design and cultivate.
Dave, what has been the initial reaction? Like, what has been the response to the beer? What is the feedback you've heard?
The feedback's been amazing. And first and foremost, the packaging, I agree with Paul. I think we knocked it out of the park. The taste of the beer is excellent. And you're not going to get to be the national champion NIL beer without having those two things in order. And we have to figure out how we're going to define that. I think maybe we'll define it as contributions through the product and coming in and supporting the Badgers. But Guarding Against Cancer had their annual fundraiser a couple weeks ago, and Greg Gard did a toast on the stage before they began the interview with Bill Rafferty, and it was awesome. And I haven't met anyone that hasn't said, we want to get this on our shelves. We're working with a lot of the retailers right now across the state, and they want to help promote Wisconsin. They want to help promote this product, and hopefully the budgets that we had for contributions exceed our expectations.
I can't wait to try it. I'm out in Connecticut, so I haven't got any quite yet. I'm waiting on you guys to get a truck out here, but I cannot wait to try it. I do want to turn it over to both of you. Any other message for Badger fans? Anything we might have missed here that you feel it's important to get out there?
Well, I'll go first, Dave. I think just keep watching what the collective is doing and keep supporting us. As I said, we're rolling out a series of different programs that we're going to hopefully be able to do a better job of getting fan engagement. So be patient with us. We're rolling it out, but we're excited. I haven't been more excited than I am right now about the ecosystem and how we're going to contribute to help make champions here. It's an exciting time. Everything's changing and pivoting almost daily, but it's not a negative. I'm excited by it. We're embracing it, and partnerships with people like Potosi and Dave, we're open to them, and let's go get it.
Yeah, and I would say that there's a lot of people out there that are maybe disappointed with the direction that athletics is going at the major college level, but it is a reality. And if Wisconsin wants competitive athletics, they need to embrace this. They are embracing it. It's been amazing, the progress that they've made. And if in a small way we can help create an awareness out there in a responsible way. I mean, obviously responsible drinking is a big part of our mission, and it needs to be done responsibly. But this could be, and other similar products could be the best way to create that awareness and get those smaller contributions coming in. People who are making large dollar contributions, they're energized by things like this happening because they don't want to have to carry the water all the time. And they want the engagement of the mass of the Badger fans. And if that happens, we'll be successful. So appreciate the opportunity, Ryan, to talk to you this morning.
No, it's been my honor. I'm glad to have both of you on. It's been a ton of fun. Paul Wrycha from the Collective, Dave Fritz from Potosi. Go definitely check out what the Collective's doing. Go down to Potosi, check out the brewery. Go have a great time down there. Drink some amazing beer. I can't wait to try mine. Anyway, and thank you to everyone who's tuning into this. As always, on Wisconsin, and we will talk tomorrow.